Hi guys, so this is our final design video for the Milk Coffee Brewers. That's our team name. So first things first, before we started any of our brews, we had to answer the question, what kind of beans are we going to use and what kind of roast level are we going to use? So we decided to go with the Sulawesi washed beans because through our trials, especially with the Clever Coffee Brewer, we came to the conclusion that our brews lacked acidity and they were plenty bitter, but they lacked acidity. So we decided to go with the Sulawesi washed beans because they smelled the most acidic, and the brews that we did with those kind of beans also ended up the most acidic tasting. And for the roaster settings, we decided to go with 996 because the power level 9 yielded a really nice dark roast, but any time level above 6 minutes really over roasted the beans, and it roasted them past the second crack to the point where they were oily, and grinding them and using them was not ideal because they did not yield good tasting coffee. They smelled fishy, they were a pain to work with. So 6 minutes was a sweet spot for us. As for the process diagram, we started with 120 grams of Sulawesi washed green beans. After roasting, we lost 25 or so grams to chaff and volatile gases, leaving us with about 95 grams of beans. At the same time, we started heating up 1,350 grams of cold water. And after both of those processes were done, we had some excess of each that we tossed out, and we were able to start 4 simultaneous brews on the Clever Coffee drippers, each with 300 grams of hot water and 20 grams of ground beans. And at the end, that yielded us with 979.3 grams of coffee. And that 979.3 grams was above the minimum threshold of 925. As for some quick mass balance equations, the mass of the cold water at 1350 was equal to the mass of the hot water plus the mass of evaporation, obviously, and our mass of the brew was equal to the mass of the hot water minus the mass of the spent coffee grounds minus the mass of the initial coffee grounds as well. As for the energy level for each step, the most of the energy that we consumed was towards roasting the green beans. Since we did the dark roast, it did use up 0.16 kilowatt hours. As for grinding the roasted beans, that used basically zero energy, and that is one of the reasons we decided to go for a roaster setting of 10, which is pretty fine, is because we knew that we could just maximize our flavor while not spending any more energy. We did decide to use a hotter water temperature at 98 degrees Celsius, and that did use up 0.12 kilowatt hours of energy. But we counteracted that by using the Clever Coffee dripper, which, unlike other methods like the Mr. Coffee, did not use any energy because they're not electronic appliances. So we just put in the Clever Coffee dripper, let it extract for 6 minutes, and that used up no energy. As for our TDS and percent extraction, our TDS was 1.4, which is above the recommended upper limit of 1.3, and our percent extraction was about 16%, give or take. Our sensory evaluations, we had mixed reviews about the brew we came up with. It looked very dark in color. It was almost black and opaque until we poured it and it became a nice dark brown. And the smell was pretty neutral. At first you couldn't smell anything, but if you wafted it, it was nice and aromatic and tea-like and acidic. The coffee tasted slightly acidic, then it kind of evened out in taste, and it had the strong bitterness after. And our group liked that, but we realized that the average coffee drinker might not like that much bitterness in their coffee. And due to that bitterness, our group did score towards the bottom, but we weren't in like the bottom two outliers. Our group was still in a cluster that was close to the winner. And then we believe that we got all those points because we did have a nice fragrant acidity and a nice body to our coffee, but the balance was ruined because of the strong bitterness at the back. So if we did have to improve for a future contest, we would probably use a lighter roast of coffee beans to avert some of that bitterness. And we also would consider maybe bringing up our grind size to stop our beans from over extracting and just cut down on that bitterness a little bit. And yeah, that's our summary. That's been our group presentation for group A03. Thank you.